Hi. I'm just going to go through some of the stuff that I've made over the last few years in high school and in my last 2 years of university so far. Just sort of building a portfolio, nothing really crazy, so I'll give you guys a little sneak peek.
I'm Simon Matson. I'm a student at the University of Waterloo in Global Business and Digital Arts. I consider myself a graphic designer. I like graphic design because it's somewhat practical and fulfills a purpose. I get to do something for somebody else that they might not be able to do themselves. As a student, I feel that it's harder to get into a real professional practice because you don't really have that work kind of backing you. You don't really have enough of it, nothing that solidifies you quite yet.
A lot of the work I've done is essentially creating this entire fake brand and fake identity just to give myself something to do, and treating it like it's a real client I think is really important, not only for the practice, but also for your portfolio. I think it's good to make yourself look like a professional, even if you're not.
I think having Tony around has definitely been a great help. I would consider him a bit of a mentor to me. He definitely has shown me the ropes. My friend Nico, it's his dad. Known Nico for a while, and I only found out that his dad was doing graphic work when I went into high school. I took advantage of that connection a little bit. I told him my interest. He would look at my work and give me some real constructive feedback, which I valued very much coming from somebody who I considered a professional. We worked together on a project for a company called Impact Dog Crates. They do these very industrial sturdy dog crates for Navy and stuff like that. So that's probably my most memorable one. Got to really see what it's like to do that for a living.
Yeah, Impact Dog Crate. Yeah, so you would have been...
Yeah, I would have been in grade 10. That would have been, how old would I have been? 14, 15, something like that. And I was really excited and really nervous about that project because I was like, oh, this is a real client. This is kind of a real thing. Because what I was doing was just messaging people back and forth on Twitter, trying to hash out what was going on, right? And I hadn't done something on this level quite yet.
You just jumped all over it. You had real excitement. Simon was this shining friend of my son Nico, and he had shared this intrigue for design specifically. And what I loved about Simon was how he allowed himself to be vulnerable, knowing his position. Hey, I'm just a young designer, a wannabe designer that really loves doing this kind of stuff.
So first, I always start with a very, very rough draft. I really just do a few little sketches here and there. I start with just super rough ideas, nothing crazy, just experimenting, seeing what I like, what I don't like. I get feedback on it. And then I essentially take these ideas and I start to construct almost like a cover page. I essentially give myself 5 words only and build the entire brand around those 5 words.
I think that you gotta think about just throwing it at the wall as hard as you can, right? And seeing what sticks and seeing what people take off that wall, right? You can out there
and see what sticks and and then polish them up, and I think, okay, so what would you have done? I said, hey, this sucks. You got to go back to the drawing board. How would you have felt?
I would have been like, oh, I didn't do something right. And so I would go back to the drawing board, but not with the same mindset as I think I would have now. And when I think about that project now and how I would have done it, is if you said like, Simon, this is awful, whip up something else, I'd be like, all right. Yeah. And I would think nothing more of it, right? I'd go back to the drawing board and I'd come back with 10, 20 more things, right? And if you didn't like those, I'd come back with another 10, 20 more things. One thing Tony has kind of taught me is to not get attached to my work, and especially in graphic design. You don't want to become emotionally attached to a design, because if you're working for somebody else, they can decide to throw it right out the window, right? So it's never been like, oh, I love this piece so much, people hate it, like it must be bad. Like I never got emotional about it. It was if somebody didn't like it or thought there was something wrong with it, I always wanted to know why and what I could do to change it.
So things couldn't always go the way you wanted, and they definitely didn't. This was sort of the design that I finished on, this sort of very harsh, gritty, strong look. But the company didn't go with this because it was too close to their direct competitor.
Do you have to be perfect? Absolutely not. In fact, if you're striving for perfection, you've got it all wrong. because there's no such thing as perfection in the creative world. That's why it's art.
That's the point. That's the fun of it, right?
That is. And first of all, no one should ever tell you that this sucks.
Yeah.
Because if someone tells you that, you're just in the wrong place.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why I left the big egocentric, large agency corporations, because they're filled with egos. And if someone speaks to you like that, then they're just probably not doing their job that well. Would be, hey, what about trying this? Or actually, this isn't going anywhere. But being able to handle that, not getting attached, which you did. There's a constant belief that you can always be better at your craft. Having a mentor gives you some sort of horizon, and even though the horizon may not be attainable, it's always something to work towards. And I feel privileged that, someone is interested in being a mentee, because I believe that offers success for that individual, knowing that they always want to better themselves.
I think there's things that you can learn and draw from other people around you, even if you think that they may be a worse designer than you or a better designer than you. I think everybody has some sort of value and learn things a different way than you that you can pull. And I think together that just makes you a better designer as a whole.
Some advice I would love to give to the younger generation of creative minds is always know that you can do better. Never get attached to your work. And often it's yourself that is your worst judgment, and often that's okay, I think. If you create a bar that's kind of high for yourself, I think you can always, and often it does, it always can come back down to here. But if you start here, you got a better chance of selling it up here.
That project overall was, inspiring for sure.
Cool.
And definitely made an impact.
Real cool.
See what I did there? Made an impact.
Made an impact.
That's really good.
That went good.